Poston, one of the co-founders of the whole Poston group. And I'll just spend the first few minutes just to explain who we are and why we've been investing in Europe for the last sort of 15-20 years. Our group of companies is mainly an investment company where we have developments, real estate, and we work quite a lot in golden visa programs across Europe. Mainly sold in the last few years on Portugal and a lot on Greece now, because it's an ever-evolving visa program that's got a lot of attention over the last few years. We first started in 2005, and we were involved in sort of 10-12 different countries during that time, up until 2009 when the markets took a little bit of a dip, and we took a step back a little bit and mainly worked on private investment. Around 7 years ago then, we set up the Holland and Poston group, and we started again reinvesting back in Europe. And what we found on the back of a lot of investment we were doing for our clients is the citizenship program that existed become really relevant. Portugal in particular is worked really well. There's a citizenship one investment program in Portugal where after 5 years you can get citizenship from a minimum stage of 2 weeks. Okay, so 2 weeks every 2 years leads to citizenship after 5. They've tweaked with the program several times over the last 7 years, but it still exists in large. There's just different ways now. So it's been real estate mainly over the last 5 years. And during those previous years, we've invested in around about 16 projects and done over 500 million worth of business. I think we have some slides here. I'm not quite sure how it works. There you go. Okay, so the program itself has now changed. So instead of investing in real estate now, it's now moved to funds. So the level of investment that they wanted in regards to the golden visa has sort of hit its peak regarding residential, and they've now moved into funds. So we have a new fund that's going to be starting early next year. It's going to mainly be focused on hospitality. And to give you an example, we've purchased and in the process of building 3 hotels across Portugal. One of them we've already signed a 25-year lease with Hilton, another one with Holiday Inn, and another one that we're just developing. These projects will allow the hospitality fund to lease those buildings back, and we've got estimated returns of somewhere between sort of 10 and 15% a year on year. So they're quite nice. Now what that allows you to do off the back of that, it allows you and your family, with both sets of parents and children, to go into the program. The investment there is €500,000, and that will allow you into the program. There's a minimum stay requirement of 2 weeks every 2 years, and it renews 2 years after, and on year 5 you can apply for citizenship. Okay? How that works is you need to pass a basic Portuguese test. Very basic. We're not talking fluent, we're talking level 2. There's 6 levels of Portuguese exam. This is second level, it's multiple choice questions. And it's really simple process. And once you've done that, then you can have citizenship in Europe, which will allow you to live and work, and your kids to be educated anywhere you want across Europe. Secondly to that, and what we've seen huge steps on in the last few years is Greece. So we work right the way across Europe. We have a company in the UK where we deal mainly in pure investment. We have a lot of student lets and hotels that we're developing there. But what we've seen in Greece now, and particularly since COVID and the lockdown, is we've seen a huge increase in people wanting the freedom of travel. And Greece gives the perfect choice for this. So although we deal in sort of 6-7 different countries, Portugal and Greece stand out. Portugal because of its ease of citizenship, and Greece because of its ease of getting into the program of freedom of travel. So for Greece, the investment is €250,000. You can invest into any kind of real estate that you want to, so it can be commercial, residential, however you want. And off the back of that €250,000 investment, you and your whole family, immediate family, children, and again parents and in-laws, can all have residency in Greece. That will allow you to travel anywhere across the Schengen regions, okay, for 5 years, with an automatic renewal if you want it, providing you still kept the investment for a further 5 years. Okay? There's no minimum stay requirements either. So the beauty about Greece is it gives people the freedom of travel effectively for the next 10 years if you wanted. Now, there is citizenship there, however, you would need to reside for 7 years. Okay, so if you wanted to go down the citizenship route and you wanted to get a European passport, you would need to reside in Greece for the next 7 years. The good thing about residing in Greece is the tax. There's only 5% tax on dividends in Greece. Okay, so regardless of what your income is, regardless of what you're earning, you can set up a company there as a non-European. Okay, and you can own the company. You just need either to reside there or have a European director within the company that's on a wage, and that will then allow you to have a company there and take dividends from that company. Okay, so dividend tax only 5%. There's also no capital gains tax in Greece, which is another fantastic thing. The capital gains tax exists, but it's been suspended now for many years, and it's going to be suspended for many years to come. So financial advantages of Greece are fantastic. You've also got an economy there that's only just starting to grow. Tourism's 25% of its GDP. And we've seen tourism numbers rise around about 25% since COVID, and they're up to around about 24 million now. Okay? Considering this population of under 11 million, this is a huge amount of tourists coming into the area. Property prices in terms of per square metre are still below where they were in the crash of 2009. Okay, so there's still a huge amount of upscale in Greece. We saw exactly this in Berlin from 2005 up to 2009. Then we've seen exactly the same in Portugal over the last 6 or 7 years, and Greece is now moving in the same structure. So to give you an idea, we saw Berlin go from around about 12,000 to 13,000 a square metre on the best streets, and it's somewhere around 33,000 to 35,000 a square metre today. We saw the best streets in Portugal and Lisbon, Avenida Liberdade in particular, we saw that go from around about 5,000 to 6,000 a square metre, and today at the moment it's about 16,000 a square metre. And we're starting to see the exact same patterns now with Greece. We're starting to see the tourism increase, the investment come in, and it makes a big difference. And to give you an example, the programme in Greece has been running for 10 years, and during the previous 9 years before last year, they had about 4,500 people that had invested into the programme. Last year alone was 4,500. I think it was just like 4,326, I think it was. So what we saw last year was pretty much the exact same amount invested into Greece for the Golden Visa programme as the 9 years previously. And this year we're seeing increases again of around about 20-30%. We only have the data up until February, but it's already nearly 2,000 investors just by February. So it's not only a great place in regards to getting freedom of travel, it's a great place for tax incentives, but it's also a great place to invest your money at the moment. In terms of Europe and what's going on, it's definitely one of the key markets and one of the key areas to be putting money, and that's where we've always been focused. We're predominantly an investment company. We have a company in Dubai, we have one in the UK, Portugal, as I said, and Greece. We also own a company called Spanish Homes. So we have a whole group of companies, and all we've been focused on for the last 15-20 years is investments in Europe and areas where you can make returns. And Greece for us works. It ticks a lot of boxes. They've had the visa program, like I said, for several years, but now is where we're sort of saying to clients, now's the time to step in. There's a lot of developing areas there. And although they've moved some of the areas from 250 to 500, still more than 90% of Greece is eligible for 250,000 investment. And the biggest island in Greece is Crete. Heraklion, which is the capital of Crete, is the third biggest city in Greece, and the tourism numbers there are somewhere between 7 and 8 million. So it has huge numbers coming into a very small island. And again, price per square metre and investment levels are really low, so there's good returns there. So, from an investment perspective, it ticks all the boxes, and it also works from a visa perspective. It just depends on what you're looking for. If you're asking me where to go in Europe, if you're looking for just for freedom of travel, Greece is definitely the easiest and most straightforward. Your application will be approved within around about 3 to 4 months, and you'll have a residency paper after around 45 days that will allow you to travel in and out of Greece anyway, and then within the 3-4 months you'll have a card that will allow you right the way across the Schengen regions. Okay, it's all complete, there's no borders, 27 countries you've got access to, and it gives complete freedom of travel. Going back to Portugal, it's very similar. We lost the mic there. Going back to Portugal is very similar. However, Portugal is a little bit longer in the processes. It takes around about 12 months to 14 months to be approved. So during that time, you won't have the freedom of travel then. We okay there? Yeah. Okay. So it's just varying the programs. So Portugal, obviously, like I said earlier, gives you the complete freedom of citizenship after 5 years, and it's done by title. Okay, so there's a lot of CDI programs where you need to keep the investment for many years. With Portugal, it's done by title. So for every year you're in the golden visa, you get 1 year of title. Okay, and when you get to 5 years of title in Portugal, you'll learn citizenship. Now it doesn't matter if you come to Portugal just to work. For every year that you're working there, you will ascertain 1 year of title. Okay, and the golden visa works exactly the same. So when you get to the 5 year point and your application is processed, it doesn't say golden visa, it just says that you have 5 years of title. Okay, so they're not pigeonholing people, everybody goes into the same thing. And we've done thousands of visas now, we have hundreds of clients at citizenship level, and we've never had one client refused. In fact, the first ever client that went to citizenship for us was an Iranian client. And I remember thinking, I preferred an easier one to start with, and no issues whatsoever. Us as a company, we have a full setup, we have a full after-sales team in every country that we exist in. And what they do is they not only look after the property, but they look after you. So we're not a property management company, we're an after-sales. So our after-sales basically will look after all your tax returns. They will look after you when you come to visit the property, when you're in either Portugal or Greece or the UK, we'll take you wherever you need to go, and we'll arrange everything. So we make sure that you're compliant in every way. And we can do it for a lot less than what the lawyers can, because it's all done in-house. So we have our own in-house accountants. Like I said earlier, we have a construction company, so we have our own in-house engineers, architects, and during the last 5 years, we're on somewhere around, 15 residential buildings, 3 hotels, a commercial, and we just purchased our first student-let in the UK, and we have a plan to purchase around about 6 or 7 over the next 14 months. UK is a very different kind of investment. It doesn't come with a visa, but it comes with very good returns, and it's a safe market. That's pretty much in a whole what I wanted to talk about. I'm not sure time-wise where I'm at. But guys, in regard our whole staff, we have around a team of 60. Okay, they're all across the world and only deal really in investment in Europe. If you're looking to invest into Europe, into any country, we can sit down and talk to you about any country. We've done it right the way across. The focus right now for us is Greece and Portugal, because they give great residency programs, and that's why we're here. But I've got 5 or 6 of really knowledgeable investment guys that have been in the market a long time. So if you want to come and sit down and speak with us, feel free, and we'll try to help in any way we can. Thanks a lot.